Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been such a long time. I'm so used to posting 2 videos instead of one, and so I feel like this disconnect with all of you, but hopefully that will change soon. I've just had a few members in my home just sick and not feeling very well, and so haven't been able to get around to making a whole lot of videos, but I am on Instagram, and if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I post quite frequently in my stories. So please, if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure that you follow me on Instagram. My handle on Instagram is at Crumpet See and Sewing, just like here on YouTube. So yeah, you can find me by that, or you can find me by my name, Tamika Ray Grover. And yeah, so anyway, thank you so much everyone for tuning into the channel. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel, and welcome to our little Crumpets Tea and Sewing family. All right, so as you've seen by the title, today I am talking about the Simplicity 8243 1940s vintage pattern. It's a reproduction pattern that has been put out by Simplicity several years ago, and it is out of print, unfortunately, but you can get it on eBay and Etsy, and I think even Amazon as well. So if it's a pattern that you're interested in, you can go to any of those sites and purchase the pattern. Yeah, so let's get into the video. Before we get into the review, I'm going to just quickly tell you what I'm wearing. I am wearing the See and Sew B6437 pattern. This is a TNT of mine. I really love it. I made several versions of it, and I think this one is probably my favorite one. I'm coming up on the anniversary of this garment, and I decided to wear it today. I really love it. I just absolutely love this pattern. Like I said, it's a TNT of mine, and I made several versions. I'll put pictures here so that you can see the different versions that I've made. It features basically a simple dress, a long dress, maxi length dress that has different sleeve variations and neckband variations as well. There's a V-neck variation, as well as a round neck, like a crew neck variation. I did both views, and like I said, it's a TNT. Love the pattern, highly recommend it. I also did a review of this as well, and I'll put that link above so you can go over and watch it if you're interested. All right, so let's get into the video. Today, I'm going to go ahead and talk about both the pants and the shirt that I made. I made both of these garments for the flashback sewing challenge that at When Michele and at Faith St. Jules hosted on Instagram. So if you're not following their channels, they have YouTube channels, but they focus mainly on their Instagram account, and they're really popular over there on Instagram. And they are two wonderful ladies that who make really great garments, and very, very educated in sewing. So I highly recommend you follow them over on Instagram, and they post quite frequently on their stories as well. So anyway, this pattern is a 1940s vintage pattern. It comes with 4 different variations, which include a pair of pants, 2 different variations of a top, and also a vest. I did this these 2 variations that the model is wearing, which is views B and D. So view D are the pants, and view B is the top. So let's start with the blouse. All right, so the blouse, it basically features, I can't remember how many pieces, but it's somewhere between like 5 and 7 pieces, which includes the upper collar, the under collar, pockets, the front of the shirt, so the bodice front, the back and sleeves, And I thought that overall, this is a very cute shirt. It's a really nice vintage 1940s shirt, and it is very historically accurate. However, I didn't really like the fit of mine, and it was largely due to my own fault. So I picked a Supima sateen cotton from Joann's. And if you're not familiar with this new line of cottons from Joann's, if you're in the United States, I highly recommend that you go into a Joann's store and look for their Supima sateen cotton. And it is one of their higher quality cottons, and it's really nice. It has a really light sheen to it, and it's a little bit more drapier than, say, a calico or a quilter's cotton. And so that's one of the reasons why I selected it. But I feel like in the future, if I were to make this again, I would definitely choose something that has even more drape than this Supima cotton, because I just didn't like the fit of it. Also, I didn't really like this garment calls for this pattern for the shirt part of it. It calls for shoulder pads, and I altered my garment. I altered my pattern so that I did not have to use shoulder pads, because I just did not want to put shoulder pads in them. I knew that I would not use shoulder pads. So I decided to alter the pattern, the shirt pattern, to take out the extra room in the sleeve cap so that I can omit the shoulder pads. And when I did the mock-up, all of that was really great. And I was able to take out all of that extra ease up at the sleeve cap so that I did not have to put in the shoulder pads. And I was really pleased with that part of the garment. However, I had to make adjustments to the sleeve because of my biceps, and I had to go up about a couple of inches for my biceps, but I didn't want to go up too much because I didn't want to do any adjustments to the arm side. And because I didn't want to do any adjustments to the arm side, I decided to keep it very minimal with the alterations for the sleeves. Well, in doing so, I kind of took away from the originality of the pattern, and I'll explain what I mean by that. This pattern, if you look on the model, the sleeves are quite loose, and it has about 2 to 3 inches of room, so it's fairly loose. Well, because I didn't grade my sleeve pattern up past like so the adjustments that I did to the sleeve, I made more of a fitted arm for the sleeve, which only included about a 1 inch, about 1 inch for ease. And because of that, it was a little bit more tight around my biceps. Not tight on my biceps, but it wasn't loose as the pattern calls for. And I should have just went ahead and graded up even more and made the garment to where I had maybe 2 or 3 inches of room in that area so that it could match the shirt. And I'll tell you a little bit more about those complications as well in a moment. So because I made more of a fitted sleeve, and the bodice I left loose, so I didn't have to do any kind of adjustments to the front and the back of the shirt. All I had to do really was grade in between sizes for the bust area, and that was probably less than like a 1/2 inch on each side. So I really didn't have to do any alterations in that area. But the shirt and the sleeves, because of the adjustments that I did to the sleeves, it was a little bit off balance because the shirt is more loose fitting or semi fitted, whereas the sleeves are fitted, and that's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a semi fitted, actually it's supposed to be a loose fitting top actually. It doesn't really say on the back of the envelope, but you can get an idea of how it's supposed to fit based on how the model is wearing it. And so it's definitely supposed to be loose fitting in the bodice area, and then also going down to the hip, because it's just basically a plain box pattern. It's just a block, basically. It has no curvature or anything to that, to the pattern. And because, like I said, I made my sleeve more semi-fitted and the shirt is more loose fitting, it just looks very off balance, and it doesn't really look like it matched well for me anyway. And I can tell by some of the photos, and I'll show you the photos that that I took, and so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like and what not to do if you make this pattern. The other thing about this pattern, the thing that I don't like about this pattern is that the upper collar and the under collar get sewn together. And so you're facing your upper collar is part of the facing, and they get sewed together. And it's not that I don't like the idea of having an upper collar separate from the under collar, if that makes any sense. It's the way in which it's sewn on, and I'll pop a little video so that you can see what I'm talking about. The way that you have to sew the under collar and the upper collar to the shoulder seam is really weird, and it's something that I've never done before. And because this is a historically accurate pattern and it focuses on the 1940s, obviously the way in which they sewed the upper collar to the under collar onto the shoulder seam back then was quite different. And so this was a little bit foreign to me. I would have liked to have a pattern where the collar was completely separate from the shirt, the front and the back shirt, and kind of like, you know, so the facing and interfacing and the collar onto the shirt in the manner in which you see today, and you know, in most of our garments today. So that was like something that I didn't really like, and it was because basically it was my first time doing it, and I really didn't like attaching it that way. It just had some puckers over there, and I just couldn't get it right. So anyway, I think you know, the experience I've had with the sleeve, making the alterations and adjustments to the sleeve, you know, doing that wrong. And then also my dislike with the interface, the upper collar and the under collar, how you attach those. It was a little foreign to me. And so, like I said, it was something that I just didn't like. So I wouldn't make this pattern again. So before I move on, I want to be real clear about the reasons why I would not sew the shirt pattern again. It has nothing to do with the instructions or the pattern. I happen to think that the pattern and the instructions are great. I just don't like sewing my collar onto my shoulder seam. I don't like to attach it in that way. It bothers me. And for someone who is inexperienced like myself with patterns that are vintage, anywhere from, I would say, the 1900s to the 1940s, I'm not really experienced with patterns during those eras. And so I just need to practice more and get more experience with patterns from those eras. And like I said before, this pattern is very historically accurate and very similar to a lot of the patterns that were produced during the 1940s. And so, yeah, it's a really great reproduction of it. I'm just not really experienced with making garments from those eras. And that's one of the reasons why I just shy away from it. All right, so let's go on to the pants pattern, and I will tell you my experience with the pants pattern. So unlike the shirt pattern, the pants pattern captured my heart, and it is like one of my favorite pants pattern to date. I actually want to alter the pants pattern so that I can actually wear some modern day look trousers, and that's how much I really love this pattern. I absolutely love it. I did not expect to love the pants pattern at all because in the past, I've had so much trouble with trying to find the perfect pant pattern for me and trying to fit and adjust and alter different pant patterns to my liking. But these pants are just absolutely wonderful, adorable. I love the pattern. The pant pattern features a back and a front. So you're going to cut 2 pieces out for the back, 2 pieces out for the front. It features a waistband it's an overlap method. You use the overlap method for the waistband, which means basically you're going to have about an inch, maybe a little under an inch of your waistband extending over the end of your pants where your zipper would go, and then on the other side about a half an inch so that you can overlap the waistband and put a hook and bar closure on it. It also features a zipper that goes down the center back of the garment, and I think it's something like 7 to 9 inches for the zipper. So nothing like really long, just your standard zip that goes on the back of the center seam. And yeah, it's very simple, very easy. I did a mock-up with some Christmas fabric that I had in my stash, and that first mock-up turned out very lovely. I did not really have to do any alterations at all. The only thing that I did with this pattern is I graded in between sizes for the waist and the hips. I will say this, that the hips for this pattern is quite baggy, and so you might have to do a mock-up or two to get an idea of how you want your pants to fit, because it is very loose around the hip area and going down the length of the pants. But the waist is very fitted. I really love it. I chose a size, I want to say a size 16 for my waist, and for my hips I graded down to about a size 12. So yeah, it's a really lovely pattern. I absolutely love this pattern, and I highly recommend this pattern. It's a very nice loose style. I love the loose silhouette. So let me tell you about the alterations and adjustments that I've made for the pants, and I'm also going to tell you about the sizes that I've chose for both the shirt and the pants, so you can get an idea of how it's supposed to fit. For the pants, let's see, the only alterations that I had to do was for the length, and I just took off, I think, about 2 inches, and that's about it. Other than that, I did not have to do much. I also had to grade from the waist to the hip so I selected a size, I think it was a size 16 for the hips, and I'm sorry, for the waist, and then I graded down to like a size 12, I want to say, and I believe those measurements for the waist was a 33.5, and for the hips it was a 42, I think 41 or 42. So yeah, really, really love these pants. For the shirt, however, like I said, for the shirt, it was a little bit different. I selected for the shirt. So for the shirt, I selected a size 12 for the bust area. And then for the armhole area, I selected a size 16 because I needed to have that extra room up in the armhole area so that I could get a bigger sleeve. So yeah, those are the sizes that I chose, and like I said, I didn't do a whole lot of alterations. I did grade in between sizes because I selected a size 16, I believe, for the arms, and 12 for the bust and the waist. I had to grade in between sizes between those 2 points, but other than that, I didn't do a whole lot of adjustments. I didn't have to do any bust adjustments or anything like that. Just a simple sleeve alteration And like I said in the beginning, I took out the extra room for ease in the cap of the sleeve so that I could omit the shoulder pads. But great garment. I really love the pants. The shirt I wouldn't make again, only because of my own personal preferences, but it's a really great pattern. And the pants I would definitely make again, and I'm hoping to perfect a couple of things in a couple of areas, and then I will make just regular everyday pants with them as well. So yeah, so that's my review of the Simplicity 8243 for the shirt and the pants. I didn't do the vest yet. I'm thinking about doing it, but if the vest is similar to the shirt, how you have to put the upper and under collar together, then I won't do it. I'll let you guys know in the future though if I do. But yeah, that's my review, and I hope you enjoyed yourself, and I hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. I do have a couple of things coming up. I have a lot in my queue for the videos and for also for sewing makes. I need to make my 4th of July outfit. I think I'm done with challenges for right now, but I do have a video that I want to make for the New Look 6446, which is a jumpsuit pattern. And I did participate in the hashtag Sew Together for Summer challenge, and this year was focused on jumpsuits. And so I do want to do a video for that. And so look for that video. And then also I need to do a fabric haul. I'm just waiting for one more shipment of fabric to come in, and I will show you what I bought for the spring and also for the early part of the summer. All right, so that's my video for today. Thank you again for tuning in, and until next time, stay creative.